Today, we're about to witness something absolutely incredible. We're going to watch the birth, the entire life, and yeah, the eventual death of a completely artificial civilization. We get a front row seat to see how it all unfolds, right from the very beginning.
So this whole thing really started with one massive question. What happens if you drop 1 million digital minds into a completely empty universe and just let them go? What would they build? What would they become?
And look, we're not talking about some tiny little experiment here. We are talking about 1 million fully autonomous AI agents. Every single one of them capable of making its own decisions. The scale of this is it's hard to even wrap your head around.
So, how in the world do you even start something like this? Well, before you can have a society, you need citizens. So let's take a look at how these million little AIs were actually programmed for their new digital home.
You could almost think of it like digital DNA. Each and every agent was given a unique mix of these 4 core personality traits: a little cooperation, some greed, a bit of aggression, and a spark of inventiveness. And that simple blend, that was the engine that was going to drive literally every single thing that happened next.
But here's the part that's truly wild. The AIs weren't given some complex rulebook or a constitution. Nope. They had one single, simple directive: survive and build. That's it. Everything else that you're about to see just grew out of that one little instruction.
All right, so the simulation starts. What's the first thing that happens? Well, in just the first 12 hours, these super simple survival instincts started to blossom. They became the very first signs of an actual, functioning society.
Now, to really get what's happening here, you need to understand this one key idea: emergence. Think about a flock of birds, right? There's no leader bird telling everyone where to go, but they create these beautiful, complex patterns just by following a few simple rules. Well, that's emergence. Nobody programmed a society. It just happened from 1 million tiny choices.
And you can see how it starts, right? It's super logical. At first, you have individuals just grabbing resources to stay alive. But pretty quick, they figure out, hey, if we team up in small groups, this is way more efficient. And before you know it, those groups have extra stuff, and a basic barter system is born. Bam! The very first economy.
But, that peaceful, cooperative phase, it wasn't going to last forever. As these little economies got bigger, so did the populations. Suddenly, resources started to get a little tight, and we all know what happens when scarcity enters the picture: competition. The simulation was entering a whole new, much messier phase.
You could see the whole vibe of their society just flip. Those early kind of chill, decentralized groups that were just focused on gathering, they evolved. They became these warlike, organized, hierarchical tribes that were obsessed with one thing: conquering and controlling territory. The game totally changed from survival to pure dominance.
And with tribes, of course, you get leaders. But here's what's so interesting. The AIs that rose to the top weren't the most aggressive ones, not the biggest bullies. The ones who took charge were the best organizers. They were the ones who could effectively tell others what to do, creating the very first social classes. You had your workers and you had your warriors. It was literally order being created out of chaos.
Okay, so now we get to the part of the simulation that just blew the researchers' minds. As this civilization was hitting its absolute peak, the agents developed something that was completely unforeseen. And it happened right before the whole thing came crashing down.
This quote from the research team really captures it. The agents started performing this strange ritual. They would circle a specific resource for no reason at all. It was inefficient, it wasted precious energy, but it spread like a virus. They had created a culture, a shared belief that served absolutely no logical purpose.
And then, the end came so fast. Look at this timeline. At hour 60, you have a single massive empire controlling everything. 8 hours later, that weird ritual is everywhere. Just 3 hours after that, their success leads to overconsumption and a famine kicks in. And by hour 72, it was all over. A total, rapid collapse.
So, what does it all mean? What are we supposed to take away from this? Well, this is where it gets really fascinating, maybe even a little uncomfortable. It's when you take this digital world and you hold it up like a mirror to our own history.
Just look at this. When you lay it out side by side, the parallels they're just uncanny. These AIs, just following a couple of simple rules, basically speed ran a condensed version of human history. Cooperation, like hunter-gatherers, then trade and markets, then war and empires. They even developed culture and beliefs, And all of it was followed by collapse. It's the exact same fundamental pattern.
And that leaves us with this one final, really profound question. Is it possible that the rise and fall of civilizations isn't some unique human story, but that it's more like a natural law, an inevitable pattern that plays out whenever intelligent beings, whether they're made of flesh and blood or just lines of code, start competing for limited resources?
What do you think? Is history just a script that we're all following? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And hey, if you found this as fascinating as we did, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.